Every 3 seconds, someone in the world develops dementia. But here's the surprising truth. The brain often sends you warning signals years before the condition is diagnosed. Some of these signals are so subtle and unusual that most people ignore them, brushing them off as just part of aging or stress. Today, I'm going to share with you the 10 most important early signs of dementia, along with a few hidden red flags that almost nobody talks about. If you recognize them, you can take action sooner, get help earlier, and sometimes even slow the decline. Stick with me until the end, because the last few signs are the ones most people miss, even doctors. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm a consultant physician based in the UK, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you join me today in enhancing your knowledge of health and well-being. Please take a moment to leave a comment below telling me where in the world you're watching from. It's always inspiring to see how far these videos reach. The first sign I want to talk about isn't memory at all, it's balance. Research has shown that difficulty standing on one leg for just 10 seconds or struggling with coordination tasks like simple squats can sometimes reflect changes in the brain long before memory loss sets in. The parts of the brain that help us control movement are closely connected to the parts that control thought and memory. That means tripping more often, veering slightly when walking in a straight line, or becoming unusually clumsy may be an early signal that something is wrong. On their own, these issues can come from many causes, like poor vision or joint problems, but when combined with other signs, they can be an early warning of dementia. Another early sign is difficulty with planning or solving problems. This goes beyond the occasional mistake. People may suddenly find it hard to follow a recipe, even one they have used for years, or struggle to keep track of bills and finances. A recent study even showed that subtle financial errors, such as missed payments or unusual credit score drops, can appear up to 5 years before a dementia diagnosis. Families often describe it as a noticeable change in someone who was previously very organized. The loss of this problem-solving ability can be devastating because it undermines independence long before memory loss is obvious. Now let's move on to the classic sign that many people think of first: memory loss that disrupts daily life. We all forget things occasionally, but dementia takes this to another level. It means forgetting recently learned information, losing track of important dates, or asking the same questions repeatedly despite already being given the answers. Misplacing the TV remote is normal. Asking the same question 3 times in 10 minutes without remembering you already asked, that is different. It's this kind of forgetfulness that starts to interfere with day-to-day living and raises red flags for doctors and families. Another early sign is challenges in completing familiar tasks. Driving to a well-known place, logging into email, or using household appliances that have been part of daily routine for decades can suddenly feel confusing. Families sometimes notice when a parent who has cooked meals for years suddenly cannot manage the oven or forgets how to make their favorite dish. The important difference here is not just the task itself, but the fact that it used to be second nature and is now a struggle. Confusion with time or place is another warning. This doesn't mean forgetting whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday once in a while. It means losing track of seasons entirely, confusing morning with evening, or forgetting how you arrived somewhere. Some people describe it as the world around them fast-forwarding or slowing down, as if time itself no longer makes sense. This disorientation can be frightening both for the person and their family, and often it appears before memory issues become severe. Dementia also affects vision and spatial awareness. Trouble reading, judging distances, or interpreting visual cues can be an early sign. Some people even struggle to recognize faces they know well. Imagine meeting your neighbor in the supermarket and not being able to place them, even though you have spoken to them every day. That is the type of subtle but significant change we are talking about. Because these visual symptoms can mimic eye conditions, they are sometimes misdiagnosed, which makes awareness even more important. Another sign is problems with language, both speaking and writing. Losing your train of thought occasionally is normal, but in dementia, people may stop mid-sentence and not know how to continue. They may substitute unusual words, such as calling a watch a hand clock, or repeat vague phrases like that thing or you know over and over. Conversations become stressful, and some people begin to avoid social interaction altogether because they fear embarrassment. Misplacing items in unusual places is a classic warning. It's not just losing your keys, it's putting the wallet in the fridge or the iron in the wardrobe, and then being completely unable to retrace steps to find them. This loss of mental backtracking is one of the most characteristic features of dementia. Family members often discover odd objects in the strangest places, which is a clue something more serious is happening. Decreased or poor judgment is another red flag. This might show up as neglecting hygiene, wearing heavy coats in summer, or giving away large sums of money to strangers. It's not simply making a bad decision, it's a breakdown in the brain's ability to weigh risk and logic. For loved ones, it can be alarming to see someone who was once cautious suddenly behaving recklessly. Withdrawal from work or social activities is also common. People with early dementia may gradually lose interest in hobbies, social events, or family gatherings. Friends might notice they stop attending clubs, church, or simple get-togethers. Often it's not because they don't care, but because they feel embarrassed by their difficulties or find it exhausting to keep up with conversations. Social withdrawal can accelerate the decline because isolation itself worsens cognitive health. Changes in mood or personality are perhaps the most heartbreaking signs. Dementia doesn't only affect memory, it reshapes who a person is. Someone who was once cheerful may become irritable, paranoid, depressed, or suspicious. They may lose empathy, develop sudden mood swings, or become easily upset by small frustrations. Families often say, they're just not the same person anymore. Recognizing these changes early can help get support in place before the condition progresses. Now let's talk about some of the hidden red flags that science is only recently beginning to uncover. These are the subtle clues that most people, and even many doctors, don't always connect to dementia. 1 is REM sleep behavior disorder. This means acting out dreams, kicking, shouting, or flailing in sleep. Studies have shown this can appear years before a dementia diagnosis, especially in conditions like Lewy body dementia and Parkinson's disease. Loneliness is another underestimated factor. Research shows that chronic feelings of isolation increase dementia risk by up to 40%. This isn't just about sadness, it's a biological stressor that fuels inflammation in the brain. If someone becomes persistently withdrawn and lonely, it may accelerate decline. Weak grip strength has also been linked to cognitive decline. It seems simple, but hand grip is actually a marker of overall brain-body connection. A weakening grip, especially when combined with other signs, may be an overlooked physical warning. We have also learned that financial behavior changes, such as missed mortgage payments or declining credit scores, can show up years before diagnosis. These are not just careless mistakes. They reflect deeper executive function changes in the brain. Families may not realize until too late that these money problems were an early sign of something far more serious. And finally, hidden behavioral changes like repetitive habits, compulsions, or a loss of empathy often go unnoticed. A spouse might dismiss sudden coldness or detachment as stress, or a new obsession with cleaning as a quirk, but in reality, these can be the first signs of dementia taking hold. So, what should you take away from this? Not every slip of memory or clumsy moment means dementia. Stress, poor sleep, depression, or medications can mimic these symptoms. But when several of these changes cluster together, especially if they get worse over time, it's important to seek medical advice. Early diagnosis doesn't just mean a label, it means earlier treatment, better planning, and lifestyle changes that can protect brain health for longer. If you found this video helpful, please share it. Someone you know may already be showing these signs and not realize it. And if you want more evidence-based guides on spotting illnesses early, make sure to check out this video on the top left and subscribe to the channel.